Good morning from Athelhampton House in Dorset, between Puddletown and Tolpuddle. So let me get this right, it's the other side of Dorchester, heading in the London direction, and it's a beautiful example of a Tudor manor house, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about. So Athelhampton House the site of Athelhampton House actually dates back to before the Domesday Survey of 1086. And there's been a settlement here that was linked with Athelstan, who of course was one of the Anglo-Saxon kings. But this actual house was set up by somebody called William Martin at the time of the Wars of the Roses in 1485, so it dates right back to the very early Tudor period. It's a beautiful example of a rural Tudor manor house. And this is the famous yew tree topiary garden, which is very, very impressive. Just think how long it must take to trim these hedges up. Stunning. The Tudors loved their gardens, so they felt very safe in their gardens, because actually going for a walk in the countryside in Tudor times was a bit of a dangerous undertaking. Particularly once you get to the 1530s, there were so many landless labourers who'd lost their jobs on the farms, and you just didn't dare, if you were wealthy, you just didn't dare go out into the countryside. It was just far too dangerous. You were likely to get robbed. So what the Tudors did was they just had their lovely gardens and lived within the walls of their properties. And Athelhampton House gardens are divided into rooms, which works really well. So you've got some lovely coordination here, lovely colour coordination with these beautiful dahlias. I've just come down into this garden, down some steps, and it is very, very attractive. Into another room with some really lovely subtropical plants. As my husband's just said, it's got a hint of Tresco about it. Beautiful subtropical gardens on the Isles of Scilly. Look at this absolutely lovely pond here, look. Lots of little hidden doorways. Talking of hidden, there's a strange man in a very pink t-shirt blocking my exit. Fuchsia. Get that right. And you come through an archway and you just find yet another amazing verdant pond, absolutely crammed with water lilies. It's beautiful and it goes on and on. This must have been really lovely when we had the very, very hot weather beginning of the month, to actually come and sit here and enjoy the shade. It's really, really peaceful. It's beautiful. And just through there you can see a rather another exciting looking room. We'll go through there in a minute and have a look, have a bit of a nose around. There's an old archway here. Beautiful. So now in the kitchen garden, which is still being restored, like a lot of kitchen gardens, it fell into disrepair in the 1920s. A lot of stately homes in the UK were crumbling by the 1920s because the government, before the First World War, had imposed enormous death duties on estates to pay for social reforms, things like old age pensions, but also military equipment, because they knew that World War I was coming. And so huge death duties were levied on country estates, and quite a significant number were sold off and just fell into rack and ruin. And then in more recent years, they've been either bequeathed to places like the National Trust or turned into hotels or given to historic houses. There's a window on the garden there. And the octagonal pond, which was the very last pond to be built here around the 1970s. So it's a view of the house from the garden, and there's a lovely little circuit walk you can do all around the gardens along the River Piddle. For those of you that don't live in the UK and might be watching this video, we have some very strange names in England for, well, not just England, but various places. So, for example, we have a village in England called Shitterton. Isn't that wonderful? And this river here is the River Piddle. And it hasn't been renamed, which is brilliant. I wonder if they'll ever rename Shitterton. Probably. You can't beat a good place name, can you, really? So this is the house. So in a minute we're going to go into the house and have a look around. But it's a beautiful example of a Tudor manor house. So we're now approaching the house, which we're going to go into in just a moment. Somebody's taking a very arty photo there. And it is beautiful. Beautiful, lovely mullion windows there. Of course, glass was a sign of considerable wealth. If you had glass in your windows in Tudor times, you were seriously minted. So I'm guessing the owners of this house must have been pretty wealthy people. And this rather attractive looking round building is the dovecot. So dovecots were, and I can see some doves up there. There's one. Dovecots were a very necessary part of country house life. And they would have one of these lovely buildings to live in. There's one flying off. Athelhampton House is a real must-see inside. You can take photographs inside and you can do film clips, but you can't upload them onto social media or YouTube or anything like that, so hence we haven't been able to film in the house. But there are different phases. There's some beautiful Tudor rooms which are beautifully preserved, and there are also some lovely later ones as well, 17th century and right up through to 20th century, and there's room after room after room. So I'd strongly recommend you have a look inside the house. It is beautiful. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Pink Octopus Productions. We're a relatively new YouTube channel, And we've got lots of little videos on country houses and holidays that we go on and places that we visit. But I would strongly recommend this place in Dorset, just outside Dorchester, Athelhampton House. It is absolutely amazing, and it really does capture the essence of living in a Tudor house. It's beautiful. I think that's just an E-type Jag that's just sailed out of the car park there. Beautiful. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to Pink Octopus Productions.